There's no taking away from the brilliance that Michael Jordan displayed on the court, but oftentimes people dismiss his actions off the court because of his dark past. Jordan became a role model for a generation of young men, but his antics outside of basketball beg the question, was Michael even a good person? In today's video, we're going to look into the dark side of his career. Let's get into it. First of all, Jordan was addicted to gambling. There's no doubt that Michael Jordan is one of the most competitive people you'll ever meet. From a young age, he developed a competitive nature from his backyard court battles with his brother Larry. His desire to win would later translate to his success in basketball and pour into other areas of his life as well. It's not too far-fetched to say that it was this very competitive spirit that would also lead to a compulsive gambling problem in his later years. According to Roland Lazenby's book, Michael Jordan: The Life, he started gambling as early as high school and went as far as to place bets with his prom date. He was also known for placing bets with his coaches, teammates, and classmates during his college basketball years. The problem would only worsen when he got into professional basketball because now the compulsion had a player's salary and endorsement money to back him up. It's said that Jordan would gamble up to 6 to 7 figures on golf and card games. He would often be spotted with his close friend Charles Barkley, who was also fond of gambling. His compulsions met new heights at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics as he was surrounded with people who could compete with him financially, like his USA basketball teammates Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, and Scottie Pippen. Jordan even claimed to have a competition problem in an interview with Ahmad Rashad. It's speculated that his father's death was caused by his gambling debts, but we can't confirm how much truth there is to this. Following that, Jordan was an unfaithful husband. Even though the media always portrayed Michael Jordan as a role model, his actions weren't always up to the mark of one. Jordan, like many other athletes, fell into the same traps that come with money and fame. He was unfaithful to his wife. Juanita Vanoy Jordan hired a private investigator to look into the rumors of Michael's activities on the road and was able to find him in several questionable situations with different women. One of these women was Carla Naffel, a hairdresser and an aspiring actress who had a 2-year-long affair with the star athlete. She eventually ended up suing Jordan for $5 million in unpaid hush money. It was claimed that he promised her that amount to stay quiet about the affair, but never came through. His actions off the court led him to a very expensive $168 million divorce settlement. Next up, Jordan failed to take a stand on Nike's labor practices. Michael was donned as someone who loved kids and was obviously someone who was idolized by children around the world. It was less than fortunate for the world to find out that he didn't care enough to speak against Nike's labor practices in third world countries. Since the 1970s, Nike, among other big corporations, has been accused of using sweatshops for manufacturing their goods in order to lower their production costs. These sweatshops exist in third world countries where a minimum wage isn't paid and the working conditions are less than favorable for underage workers. When asked about the corporation's behavior, Jordan would always either promise to look into the matter or make excuses about it, saying that it's not his job to look into the labor practices of a corporation. He would always respond by saying that he's not aware of the situation and that he's more focused on doing his own job on the court. Even though he earned $130 million in 2019 from his Jordan collection with Nike, he was not interested in giving back or even speaking for the people that made the production of the products possible. Coming up next, MJ was known to be ruthless to his teammates. What would often be painted as him being a harsh leader for every team he played with would actually turn out to be straight-up mistreatment for his peers. Jordan's bullying and berating of his teammates is common knowledge, but is portrayed by the media as him being a leader for every organization he played for. One known case was when Jordan's best friend Charles Oakley was traded to the New York Knicks for Bill Cartwright. The number 23 was upset about this, and in retaliation, he ended up heavily mistreating the newly traded player. He went as far as to tell teammates not to pass the ball to Cartwright in order to limit his potential on the court. Another instance of this came against Steve Kerr when Jordan came out of retirement. To prepare him for the NBA, a few practice games were set up with Phil Jackson placing Kerr as the opposing guard against Jordan. Steve was ordered to be rough on Jordan to simulate what actual games looked like, but Jordan made sure to take out his aggression against Kerr by punching him in the eye. Such behavior is uncalled for, considering this was just a friendly scrimmage to get him in shape for his comeback. Followed by, Michael was extremely egocentric. While most players can seem vain in their actions once they reach a certain level of success, Mike seems to be at the top of it all. The best example of this is his Hall of Fame speech that saw him be grateful for his success for a minute and turn straight into an ego trip. The man acknowledged his family only to say that he felt sorry for his sons, and then went on to call out everyone he'd ever had a slight grudge with. Now that you guys understand the general gist of why Jordan is considered one of basketball's most polarizing characters, let's get into the specifics of some of the worst things he's done. Coming in at number 4, staying out all night during playoff games. The basketball legend's problems off the court have seeped into his performances many times. One such case of this came when he proved that his love of gambling is up to par with his love for the game. His compulsions almost cost the Bulls their 1993 Eastern Conference Championship victory. While setting up to play the New York Knicks, Michael decided to hit up the casinos in Atlantic City the night before the game and stayed out all night. Because acts like these can affect a player's mentality and recovery before games, Michael was reported to have never played worse, and the Bulls lost the first 2 games of that series. When Phil Jackson intervened and made sure to keep Michael within the confines of the team, he was back to his regular performances, and he managed to lead the Bulls to another big series win. For a player to be as pivotal to a team as was Jordan to the Bulls, his irresponsibility in cases like these speak volumes about his addictions. At number 3, Michael Jordan bet a girl's virginity over a game of dice. Yes, you heard that right. Michael Jordan actually did that. There's no shortage of stupid bets he's made in his career, but this is in a league of its own. In the 90s, an MTV show host named Kennedy got to hang out with Russell Simmons and Michael Jordan at the Bowery Bar in New York City. In simple Michael Jordan fashion, he took out a pair of dice and proposed that they place a bet. The offer was simple. If he scored higher than her on his roll, she would have to accompany him to his hotel room. Kennedy stated that she was a virgin at the time and that she didn't want to indulge in any such activity. Upon hearing this, Michael withdrew the offer and assured her that it was okay since he already had a wife and had no intention of dealing with Kennedy in the first place. He instead offered Kennedy some NBA tickets. Shocking, isn't it? This sort of behavior is just downright disgusting, and for a person like MJ to be doing this is even worse. At number 2 is the fact that Jordan would never let his family come to major games. There's more speculation than fact surrounding this one, but enough speculation to add it to the list. Jordan was known to be a guy that liked to have fun and also a guy who wouldn't let something like a playoff game come in the way of that. With that being the case, rumor has it that Jordan wouldn't let his family attend any major playoff or finals games. While excuses like needing to focus or the disruption of their schedules were almost always given, many people suspect the real reason behind this to be Jordan's desire to sleep around, party, and gamble as much as he'd like. Keeping in mind the fact that these were real issues that damaged his relationships, the validity of these rumors seems to be more real than speculative. Finally, at number 1, Jordan sued a local grocery store for $8.9 million over $4 of coupons. Right when you think the worst is over, there's another Jordan story to top it. Mike is known in the basketball world to be a very petty person when it comes to the smaller facets of the game, but even we didn't know this was the case in real life. Around the time he gave his Hall of Fame speech, a grocery store in Chicago decided to run a promotion in which they gave coupons for $2 off a steak that congratulated Jordan and included the number 23. Reportedly, only 2 of the coupons were redeemed, and when Jordan caught wind of this promotion, he made sure to use all of his influence to crack down on the grocery store. Mike decided to sue the grocery store for using his name and his affiliated logos to try to profit off his brand. Jordan's explanation for this was that he worked hard to build the worth of his brand and that it was something he wanted to protect. This makes sense, but does this explanation really justify suing a local grocery store in the city that you play for using a promotion aimed at your success? Little too petty if you ask us. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about Michael Jordan now? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.